gentlemen, holy smokes. What? Who had that on their bingo card? I was getting ready to get up in here and talk about this football game while we all watched overtime. You have got to be kidding me. Who was that? That was Hodge? So Drake London gets hurt. Hodge. I mean, what an ending to that game, folks. You couldn't, holy cow. That's easily one of the best primetime games we've had in quite some time. I think the Chiefs and the Ravens was pretty good. But that was definitely the best Thursday night game. That Hodge turned on the Jets, buddy. Let me tell you what. Hodge turned on the Jets. That was something. You got to be kidding me. Wow. Anyways, the Atlanta Falcons get the win, 36-30, points galore. 3-2, 3-2. That brings the Saints still in it. Panthers not out of it. Panthers beat the Bears. They're only one game back. There you go, Panthers fans. Wow. What a game. That was incredible. It's not exactly what I planned to get on here and talk about, but I'll tell you what, that was a lot of fun to watch. Wow. Anywho, here we are. We're here with the recap show. I've written down a bunch of notes. I got the glasses on tonight. We're looking smart. Who knows if we are smart? But I basically just wrote down a bunch of notes that I'm going to go right down the chart from. Wow, I cannot believe Kirk Cousins, 42 of 58, 509, 4 touchdowns, 1 INT. I mean, that was Darnell Mooney dropping that just beautiful ball by Kirk Cousins late in the fourth. I think it was with like 7 minutes to go. And then Tampa blocks the field goal. And then they fiddle around, and was it Bucky Irving that fumbled, I think? And I mean, just absolute chaos in the last 7 minutes of that game. I mean, you couldn't draw up any cinema any better than that. But anyways, let me send that right quick. But it's just me tonight, but holy smokes. I mean, that's not exactly what I drew it up as. Now, the Falcons have played in every game they played in has been a one-score game. You go back to the Steelers. I think that was like an 8-point game. And then last week was a 2-point game, and they played the Chiefs down to the wire. So, man, that's a bone-crushing loss for the Bucs. I still don't understand how the Bucs lost to the Broncos. I don't get it. But holy moly. I mean, Drake London goes down, and Kirk's doing the swag surf or whatever it is. Anyways, wow. I was fully ready to come on here and talk about, let's walk through this overtime, but man, you love to see a guy like 12 there, Hodge, get after it. So that reminds me of, I guess the late Demaryius Thomas. You remember that one? So shout out him. Anywho, we've got the graphic right here. It says NFL Week 4. I did not change that. I forgot to change that. Whoops. Here's the GOAT notes that I took away from this game. I thought this was going to be the Arthur Blank Ring of Honor letdown game. I mean, after he had he inducted himself into the Hall of Fame last week, the Ring of Honor for the Falcons. He put on a show and gave everybody hot dogs and chips. Shout out him. He shows up in this swaggy burgundy blazer today. And I'm pretty sure the mascot for the Falcons had the same thing, had the same blazer on. Not a lot of people saw that, but now they're doing the post-game interview with Hodge. And man, that was cool to see him turn on the Jets. That was cool. So Arthur Blank, you thought, I mean, this crowd was really, really weird. Oh, there you go. Oh, didn't you say, you said Falcons, didn't you? -1.5, J Bones. I'm pretty sure you did. I'm pretty sure you said Falcons 1.5. You came in here late, dropped an absolute nuclear warhead. Falcons 1.5, mega super lock, Cold Stone Creamery marble slab. Uh, uh, what was it? Lock of the week. I forgot what we called it. Damn it, we should have written that down. The Cold Stone Creamery marble slab concrete lock of the week. Roll it up, put it in your pocket, stuff it down your throat. Falcons -1.5. So that'll be a Saturday night show with Mr. Yes, he did. He did say, in fact, Falcons. And Primetime Kirk has been vindicated, possibly. Drake London, 12 receptions, 154 yards, and a touchdown. Crazy. But okay. So we had the Arthur Blank stuff. Ludacris in the stands. I thought he left. I thought he was gone. I thought he moved. But the whole the ATL crowd, I kept seeing shots where there were just empty seats. So I didn't know if that was the beginning of the game. So I didn't know if that was like a people were still getting concession stands because they got the best concession stands in the NFL. I'm not sure, but I was worried that Blank was going to get his heart broken there with a letdown after his Hall of Fame game. Like I said, Ludacris in the crowd. I wrote down a bunch of notes here. This is what I did. I just watched the game, wrote down notes. So we're just going to go right down. Pitt's welcome to the NFL game. Everybody just ragging Pitts, ragging tight ends. Well, guess what? Boom, right out of the gate. Pitts goes Kyle Pitts goes 1 reception, 34 yards right out of the gate. Everybody Twitter's ablaze. He had a nice game. What did he end up with? Hold on, let's see this here. Kyle Pitts, let's see. There's the win percentage meter. We're gonna go over all these stats here in a second. Kyle Pitts, 7 for 88. Look at that. He's back. Golly, Kirk Cousins was dealing. Wow. Pitts hit the over on the second play of the game. That is phenomenal. What was his receiving prop? I didn't see that. I didn't see the receiving prop, but I'm assuming it was 30 or 25 or something. And the question, so Pitts, welcome to the NFL game. It only took him 3 years. There you go. Kadero Hodge, there you go. 2 receptions, 67 yards. What does the guy think he is? Xavier Worthy or something? Reminds me of that movie. What do you think you are? What are you, a girl or something? Was that Zach Galifianakis? Man, did Kirk spread that thing around. So, anyways, Pitts, welcome to the NFL. RB controversy in Atlanta. People are asking. The question is out. Everybody drafted Bijan Robinson. They elevated him and Breece Hall above Christian McCaffrey in the drafts. And Bijan had 12 carries, 61 yards. Tyler Algier 6 for 12, but Tyler Algier seemed to be out there a lot. So what's going on here? Okay, here we go. I just got sent word from Jay Bones. Kyle Pitts over 31.5. Oh, his long was 32, so he did right out of the gate. That's hilarious. Jay Bones confirmed. Confirmed. There it is. 31.5. 30 minutes. Oh, NFL rig. Somehow this is Mahomes' fault. It's got to be Taylor Swift. Okay. Bucks. So, anyways, RB controversy in ATL. A lot of people are mad at Bijan. I don't know if he's good or not. He looked good at Texas, but Algier seems to be out there a lot. I mean, he had 15 touches. Bijan did. Algier had 9. So I would say it's a split backfield, but they just can't run the ball. I don't know what it is. Their offensive line is supposed to be really good, top 3 or 4 or 5 in the league. However, they cannot run the ball. So we'll look at team stats here in a minute. But anyways, okay. So RB controversy, that was one of my other notes. And the Bucs score a lot, but their stats are weird. Again, we'll get into that. They scored 30 points, but Baker was cooking, but then you're like, whoa, he only threw for 180 yards. Okay. There you go. Bijan limited at practice all week with a sore hammy. Thought we'd see more pound rock, but it was prime time. So, Kirk. There you go. How could you not want primetime Kirk? That's the question. I mean, even if you don't want primetime Kirk, you do want primetime Kirk because it's primetime Kirk. Again, he takes a sack hilariously, then throws a pick. That's primetime Kirk. And then he comes out, throws for 500 yards, game-winning touchdown. Boom. That's you get the price of admission for Kirk Cousins in primetime. So Falcons score a lot or Bucs score a lot, but the stats are weird. I don't know where all the numbers on this are going to be hilarious as far as total yards. We're going to check that out in a second. In fact, let's bring that up right now. So there you go. Bucs weird. Actually, before we do that, let's bring out our hot takes from the other night. See how we fared. I don't know why it's doing that, but here we go. I said, here we go. I said, are we getting a letdown game after the Arthur Blank Ring of Honor game? I don't think we did. I think we got a great game. Javi said primetime Kirk versus undefeated away teams on Thursday night. So away teams were undefeated. It was up against the Leviathan of primetime Kirk. Javi, he didn't give an answer, but he did bring up the point, so credit to him. And Butch P asked, is the NFL sabotaging the Falcons for consistently putting primetime Kirk on TV? That's a great question. But we are now getting to see him do the swag surf. You got everything you wanted for there. You got everything you asked for. Primetime Kirk. How many Herb Street dog shots were there tonight? The over-under? I don't know. I didn't see a lot. If somebody was watching and pay attention more than me, please confirm how many shots of the dog we got, because I think that's what everybody wanted to know. So, all right, let me bring up the stats. Let's go do that. While we do that, we're going to take a look at the I'm just going to go down my my note list here. So, we had the Falcons uniforms, the red helmets, the black jerseys, absolute filth. They need to make that a primary uniform without a doubt. So, we need to have those Falcons jerseys prime time at all times. So, I think that's order number one. Second thing, Javi just sent a text message from Pardon My Take. They were talking about the I can't remember what strip club it was in Atlanta, but Javi said that this was the strip club game between Tampa Bay and Atlanta. And of course, Pardon My Take puts out a meme that has Kirk Cousins with his chains and his shirt off right in front of a strip club. And if you saw any of our social media accounts today, you saw that we had that out way before Pardon My Take did. So shout out us. Let me go right down my list here. You see, I got this notepad. We're going to go right down the list, folks. Kirk and Baker. Cousins obviously addicted to one possession games, but Kirk and Baker, you could pretty much put WWE meme, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, center of the ring, face to face, just trading blows back and forth, rock bottom, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Stone Cold Stunner. I mean, come on. That was phenomenal. I mean, those are two. I mean, can you say they're two of the best quarterbacks in the league right now? I would say right now. If you were to make a list, I don't see how you don't put either one of these guys up there. I cannot wait to look at these team stats because I'm sitting here looking like this game went to overtime and the Falcons had like 600 yards of offense. I just don't get it. Again, we talked about Kyle Pitts. Atlanta, we talked about it on Wednesday. Atlanta cannot. What is going on here? I don't care about you. I don't care about you, Al Michaels. Atlanta cannot pressure the quarterback. They are last in sacks in the NFL, 32nd. They had 0 pressures in the first half. I think they had 4 or 5 in the second half. So you can see where that made a difference. Mike Evans, let's just go ahead, get him his gold jacket, make his bus, get him to Canton. 2 touchdowns tonight. I mean, 5 for 62 and 2. Not the leading receiver, but this dude, all he does is score touchdowns. Neither of these teams can run the ball, as we showed. We had, I mean, I don't know. Well, Baker had 42 rushing yards, and Rashad White had the 1 yard. That is skewed. Outside of that long run, the 56-yarder, he ran for 16 before that too. So it was it was or his long yeah. He ran for 16 yards before that. So they just, without Baker running the football, they can't do it. And Atlanta neither. They 73 yards. But as far as running backs go, they just can't run the football. We talked about the RB controversy. Younghoe Koo, man. Younghoe Koo, Falcons celebration. Dude's getting absolutely doused. You love to see it. You love to see it. Younghoe Koo had a rough game, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go down to see if we can see the kicking. Younghoe Koo had a tackle there. So there you go. He had a tackle right here. Good for him. He was sticking his nose in there on the kickoff. He was 3 of 5 on field goals, though, but without him at the end, they don't get that. So he had one blocked, and then he missed one. But he was banging home. I mean, I just love to see this. Long 54, long 53. I mean, you get across into the 40-yard line, boom, you're cooking already. As far as, and that makes me think that NFL offenses are getting soft because now they know they only have to get to the 40-yard line there with their opponent to get points. So, but Younghoe Koo on the kickoffs had to make a tackle and got trucked one time. So I know he's a tough guy. He's got a deep voice from what I've heard. Tyler Bass told us that. But as a kicker, you don't really want to be running down there as the wedge buster. So Younghoe Koo probably mad about the kickoff team. Is Darnell Mooney the wide receiver 1 for the Falcons? I mean, you saw Kirk Cousins throwing, I would say, risky passes into coverage. And when he needed a throw, you saw it there late at the game, the one he dropped, he was throwing it to Darnell Mooney. Now he did, you look at Drake London's stats, 12, 1 and 54 and 1, 13 targets. Darnell Mooney had 16 targets, 9 receptions. So as far as targets goes, Mooney is the guy that Cousins goes after. And right at the beginning of the game, Drake London got crunched up at the middle of the field. And so you're like, okay, well, this isn't good if you have Drake London in fantasy or if you had him in DFS. But, they have, the Falcons have all these weapons. They are 3-2. They should have beaten the Chiefs by all accounts, probably, and could have been easily 4-1. I don't know how they lost to the Steelers at home. They couldn't score. Shout out Steelers defense. But they have Drake London. They have Darnell Mooney. I mean, what does that say about the Bears, too, about Darnell Mooney, where Justin Fields leaves Chicago, right? Justin Fields leaves, goes to Pittsburgh, is throwing for 300 yards, got his team 3-1. Darnell Mooney leaves, or they're like, he's no good. Darnell Mooney leaves, and now he's in Atlanta as a 1A, 1B receiver. Oh, good call. Oh, yes. Now we've got the avatar there. I like that. Mooney almost caught, dude. That drop, he was mad. And then right after that, didn't they block the kick? So Drake London's good, man. I like Drake London. I've got him in a lot of fantasy teams. I like Drake London. But Darnell Mooney, that was a hell of a throw by Kirk Cousins, by the way. I mean, he threw that ball when Mooney's back was to him. It was a little, I don't know if it was a fade stop, but it was definitely a stop route. As soon as the DB turned his hips, Cousins, right on his chest pad. It was phenomenal. So those are everything I had written down. We had the big plays, the Rashad White long run. Again, that kind of skewed the rushing attack for Tampa Bay. The Mooney drop in the 4th, then the block field goal, hell of a throw. Drake London. Oh, Baker's knee, dude. late in the game, Baker got rolled up his knee. He was grabbing at his knee. It was kind of a almost like a Jordan Love type deal. Um, Steelers lead by the elite Georgia natives, Justin Fields. That was a homecoming game, dude. I mean, that's how they lost. That's a good point. Justin Fields, a Georgia guy, revenge game, homecoming. I mean, you put a revenge game and a homecoming game. Now you're in trouble. But yeah, the and then after all the Mooney drop, the block field goal, this and that, Bucky Irving fumbles with 3 minutes to go, and you're sitting here waiting for the Atlanta crowd to just erupt, and they did nothing, and it possibly was the worst momentum swing I've ever seen because they did nothing but give up a sack and then throw a pick. But turned out for them, so good for them. Let's look at these. I mean, gosh, Kirk, like you Kirk Cousins, man, throwing for 500 yards is just outrageous. Had a 114.8 rating. Baker had a 137.5 rating. I mean, when you come away from this game, you're sitting here. I mean, we've had to watch what was the game last Thursday? I don't even remember. What was last Thursday's game? Anybody know? But we sit here and we debate um what was that? Week 4. We sit here and we debate like who's a good quarterback, who's not a good quarterback, this and that. And we still got these guys like Joe Flacco and Sam Darnold and Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield coming out here. And it's the Cowboys and Giants. That was last Thursday. Holy moly. That was just some bad football there. Yeah, that was bad. So we had that Thursday night game. And then we we had the Jets and the Patriots. And then I think then we had the Bills and the Dolphins where Tua got hurt, so that game was terrible. And then the week 1 was Ravens Chiefs. So of the Thursday night games, that was definitely the best. But anywho, but you sit here and you look at Baker Mayfield, Kirk Cousins, and these quarterbacks, and they're just putting up 500 yards. And then you look at these other guys, the new wave of quarterbacks, the Richardsons, the Will Levises, the Caleb Williams, and they're just struggling to throw for 200 yards sometimes. So, if you're a Bucs and a Falcons fan and you're watching these quarterbacks play, I mean, I would say that Tampa Bay cannot stop the pass at all. That's a problem, especially if there's elite weapons. So I don't know. I mean, when they get into I mean, luckily for them, they're in the NFC South. But in the NFC playoffs, they got to play a Green Bay, they got to play a San Francisco, they got to play somebody who can air it out. Bucks might be in trouble, although they can air it out too. But anyways, so let's see. So the scoring plays, I mean, it started off with Drake London right out of the gate, first quarter, followed up by the Mike Evans touchdown. And then we got in the second quarter, we got I mean, look at all this touchdown, field goal time. I mean, we had scoring in every corner. Darnell Mooney, boom, there you go. Mike Evans with his second. Dude, that's true. Last week, Dallas shoved it up our butts with a missed field goal. That's true. The greatest kicker in the league, right? Greatest kicker in the league. I love seeing the win probability. So Tampa Bay right here had, when was this? Right here? Look at this. They got win probability 93% late in the fourth for Tampa Bay. And then the wheels came off. There you go. Falcons. Actually, I probably would have done that differently. I would have done black as Falcons and red as Tampa Bay. That's just me, though. Anyways, so Mooney and then Sterling Shepard. Hot DFS play, by the way. Oklahoma connection. Shout out Eric from Patriot Sports. Baker and Sterling Shepard, both Oklahoma guys. So you knew something was coming out of that. And then in the third quarter, we had field goals. That was it. And then in the fourth quarter, it got bananas again. We had second half, you could tell they were playing a little cautious. But again, Mooney got another one. And then it was a kicking fest. So, and then in overtime, we had the Kadero Hodge. How about that? That was awesome. So time of possession. Let's go to the team stats. I want to look at those because I'm very intrigued. to see what it mounted up as a score that was 30 to we get 66 points. Mm. Also a good point. Also a good point. It looked like who's the coach that was terrible with clock management. Um, didn't know how to use his timeouts or anything. Just absolute atrocity. The Falcons having no idea how to get the kick you out and in position on time. Exactly. Um, they got the delay game, so totally making it hard on himself. There was a coach that's just horrible with clock management. I cannot remember who it was. We always used to make fun of him, but who was it? Who was it? Somebody who's terrible at clock man. It used to be Andy Reid. Andy Reid used to not know how to manage the clock. Shanahan's not that great either with late game situations. But I don't know. I can't. It's not coming to me right now. Maybe it will in a minute. First downs fairly equal. Atlanta had 30 more total plays. There it is. So Atlanta had 550 yards to total yards for the Bucs was 333. They had the same amount of drives. Yards per play was very similar. Passing was totally skewed. Um, Atlanta ended up getting 4 sacks. That'll boost him up off the bottom. Rushing yards terrible. Red zone both mediocre. Penalties kind of even. Both had 1 turnover, time of possession. I would love to see, I think the thing of this would be what was the starting field position? Because for it to be 30 to 36, both pretty equal on third down efficiency. Atlanta had 2 or 3 or fourth downs. I would love to see field position battle. That would be the next step. Because if they were outgained by almost 200 yards, over 200 yards, then you've got to think that they were starting in good field position. I don't know how we find that, but I mean, there's the first touchdown in Drake Lawn. That was a heroic play. Yeah. Yeah. Andy Reid was terrible. There's another one that was just blatantly just hilarious, would always screw up late in the game. Didn't know. Didn't I look McCarthy. It's McCarthy. That's who it is. McCarthy has no idea what to do late game at the end of the games. He's just standing there looking flummoxed as the clock runs down. Has no idea how to make how to manage the game late. So there you go. And NFC South, Atlanta now on top, Tampa Bay in second, New Orleans, Carolina. So yeah, there you go. Matt LaFleur has been known for making a 2-score game be a field goal team. Wait, wasn't that in the playoffs? I think that was against the Niners when Aaron Rodgers wanted to go for it and he didn't go for it. So, there you go. But I say we got to have more of the red top Atlanta Falcons jerseys. Has to happen. So, I mean, it looked like when you're watching this game, you're like, Baker's cooking, man. Baker's got it going. And then in reality, it was, oh, there you go. Atlanta had very big kick returns the first 2 times. Was it Atlanta or was it Tampa Bay? Tampa Bay, I remember they had a big one from Sean. Was it Tucker? Was it Sean Tucker? He had a big kick return. Anyways, what a great game. Great game. But you're watching it. I mean, Baker looks great. Kirk Cousins looked great. I don't know what these 2 teams are going to do moving forward, but you've got quarterbacks that can play football and they have playmakers everywhere. So I think they're both questionable at defending the pass, and that's unfortunate for them. So, anywho, been going for about 30 minutes. That's about enough of that. Interesting game, electric game. What a way to start off week 5 of the NFL. We got a full game Sunday, so we will be back Saturday night with the week 5 pick'em contest where we plan to go 5-0 this time around. We absolutely will. And J Bones will be back. Inside source, secret weapon, J Bones. And in the meantime, we're going to stop that screen and we're going to bring up our social medias as we put out content pretty much every day, multiple times a day. And we're on live. We're live. I would say probably Sundays, Wednesdays for sure. Yep, there you go, Tampa. Tucker had the long return. I do remember that one. So there you go. That probably makes up for why they were lacking in yards. But here you go. And boom. So this shows it right here. Our podcast, our most recent podcast is already out. It came out today. Today was Thursday. Yes, came out today. And we will release another one on Monday. So we are live Wednesdays and Sundays. Podcasts from those episodes comes out Mondays and Thursdays. You can see anywhere you get your podcasts, you can get our podcast. And then we're also live on Thursday nights and Saturday nights where we review the Thursday night game, and we also do our pick'em contest. And then sometimes we'll do Monday nights, just depends on if we've got the energy. So, but follow us everywhere here. We also have a Facebook page. That TikTok emblem really screws up my eyes. I don't like it. But anywho, thanks for tuning in, everybody. And under on my card. There you go. In Tampa, could be raining. Who knows? If Bryce Harper hits a walk-off home run and The Rock comes back at bad blood, I might die. So stay tuned. Dude, I saw the card for the bad blood. It's Roman Reigns against the Bloodline. So there's a possibility, and The Rock is tweeting about it. So stay tuned. See you later. See you Saturday night.